Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech, but otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. But don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. And today I have come from the internet to tell you the story about the furries and the furry community. Originally called funny animals back in about 1972, when people, artists who went to conventions and just traded art about these funny animals that seem to have just come along recently because of Walt Disney, because of Fritz the cat. More and more people were into this, and as photocopying technology took over, more and more fur fans came around. Generally, furries should be taken at face value. For the most part, they're all enthusiastic about anthropomorphic animals who look and act lots of characteristics of a human being. For the most part, outwardly, they're just like everybody else. They're just people who decide that they want to dress up like anthropomorphic characters. Some of the suits that these guys wear cost a lot of money. The suits themselves are definitely works of art, and you can't down the art put into it. A lot of time and effort goes into making these furry outfits, and almost all of them are personalized to the individual. A lot of these outfits represent what's on the inside of these individuals. I can tell you right now that there are furries at every level of humanity within North America. We got CEOs that like to get the furry costumes out. The daughter of one of the head ICP individuals loves their furry outfits. The largest majority of furries, once again, are just people that like to dress up and act and wear cat ears, and sometimes even having a cat's tail. But being a furry is different to different people. Now, it is unbelievably hard to nail exactly what a furry is. I mean, who even makes a definition of a word? If you go to court, if you're dealing with insurance, then what is described within the laws and within the rules all come from the dictionary. I believe in the USA it's the Webster's Dictionary. But is it the people that make the definition, or is it the book that makes the definition? Now, why I'm splitting hairs here is ultimately Usagi Yojimbo from the Ninja Turtles was originally from this whole furry fandom thing. So does that mean if you like Ninja Turtles, you're a furry? If you suck one chode, you are gay in this day and age. Hey man, don't get mad at me. I don't make the rules. I just smoke the chode. Does that mean if you wear cat ears once, then you're also a furry forever? Now, I think I've said enough positive things about the furries and the furry community that we can get into the information that a lot of us are already here for. There are a lot of creepy furries, which in and of itself is absolutely nothing. Sometimes people just gotta let their hair down and let their freak flag fly. But nobody flies the freak flag like a degenerate furry. Now, before I get any further, I would like to say I'd like to definitely point out the sordid history that furries that have come from the very grassroots of the situation to begin with. But it took until the Furry Conference number 8 until anyone actually seemed to say anything about it. Now, these days, being a furry is so decentralized that it literally is an art. Perhaps it's been an art from the very beginning. And as art, it is different to different people, but it would be disingenuous to say that the furry community has not had an issue with perverts in their midst. At the same time, as a basement-dwelling computer guy, it's not as if I can stand here and say technology, computers, the internet wasn't catapulted forward by males' desire for pornography. Anyways, nobody knows exactly where the word furry came from, but it definitely seems to have come around in about 1982. Now, from looking at the early images that were on these photocopied magazines that were distributed, that were handed out, we can tell that there was a bit of a sexuality to the furry fandom from the very beginning. And then once again, by furry convention number 8, people were starting to say things about it because things were getting a little bit weird. In 1998, the Furry Manifesto came out, and it was absolutely smothered with complaints about these perverts who seem to have hijacked the scene in some situation. So, check this out. At these conventions, you would get this situations where people would auction their furries out, and some people thought it was the kind of thing you would purchase a furry and cuddle it or carry it around for the convention. And there were other people that just seemed to be there for the sex and weren't even interested in wearing these costumes. They were just there for the sexuality of it. Now, by 1994, the media was definitely picking up on what was going on. with the furries, but not particularly with the furries. You definitely seem to have two kinds of furries. The people that just like dressing up in animal costumes, and the people that just like dressing up in animal costumes.
Screwing.
Bringing us to what we affectionately call the burnt furs. The burnt furs were individuals within the furry community that were trying to push out the undesirables, the degenerate, the filthy, and the perverted. Unfortunately, it seems like they failed spectacularly because the perverted furries definitely still live on. And while you look out there for definitions of a furry, where it came from and the history and whatnot, you won't find a lot of this information about the truth. Truth is that a lot of these guys are just people that like to dress up, and God bless them, no problem at all, right? They're just regular people. And the other half, the other half can go so far that it makes old fag blush. The other half can go so far that it just blows your mind. And there's just stuff I ain't even touched. So when you think about a furries, you should definitely think about two separate subsets. The kind that are just there because they want to dress up, and the kind that are just there because they just want to screw. I say do whatever you want as long as it's not hurting anybody. And I've never heard of a furry hurting anybody else. I've never even heard of a furry hurting somebody's feeling. And what a person does within the privacy of their own bedroom or hotel room is nobody's business. That being said, y'all gotta remember to keep those elevators clean. Yeah, there's a story behind that one, but you're not hearing it from me. I think I need some whiskey. Well, that's it from me, folks. Nev from Nev's Tack Bits. Like and subscribe if you like that stuff. And if you got any comment, feel free to leave one. If you have a story of your own, if you have a really awesome fursuit video, link it in the description. And have a good one. Take care of each other.